What is that thing you're doing?
It's technical. It's one of our little toys. Something is different.
Good friend.
Anything different is good.
Go ahead. Your bus is leaving.
Backhouse man. I'm a scientist.
What's always a question of good? You only think about the bad.
I just have a feeling that something is wrong.
Good things do happen.
Make it Centauri time.
Hello and welcome to Groundhog Jungle, episode 22. We are looking at Ed Wood today. I am Alex Hillman.
And today, I am Matthew Fleming.
So, I don't know what happened there.
Tomorrow, I'll be whoever you want me to be. Ducky.
Tom Hanks.
I can't be Tom Hanks because everyone loves Tom Hanks and I'm not well loved like him. I mean,
Yes, you are.
people tolerate me and I like myself too, but I don't ever think I'll reach those heights. Tom Hanks
Wow, it's
could...
insurmountable heights.
Tom Hanks could punch a leper in the face, he could rape a swan, and he could start an epidemic all across America.
Southern America.
Yeah, and people would still go, it's Tom Hanks, isn't it?
Well, he's playing Mr. Rogers, isn't he?
Is he?
The red jumpered.
Yeah, perfect choice.
Yes, he is. He even looks like him in the publicity photos they've shown. Anyway, Ed Wood.
Ed Wood.
I do have a bit of a soft spot for films like this because I have a bit of a soft spot for bad films.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of Ed Wood, it's got Johnny Depp in it, it's got Bill Murray in it, and it concerns a director who's famous for having directed, is it Plan 9 for Outer Space?
Yeah.
Which is widely regarded as one of the worst films ever made, but is very fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun. It's not bad if you... What I cannot tolerate, I'd rather watch Plan 9 from Outer Space and all the Ed Wood canon than, for example, The Razor's Edge.
Yes.
Because what I cannot tolerate is a well-intentioned film that's turned out bad.
Yes.
I mean... Or maybe I can. But a film that's been lazily put together.
Yeah. A film's got. I think what you're looking for is that a film has got to have heart.
Yes, and these ones do because as we see from the film Ed Wood, he really does put passion into it. Yes, he doesn't have the budget.
No,
and he doesn't have, but he does as much of what he can, and I think we would come up with. We've made similar films to this.
Yes. So just to put a bit of historical context into this. So I've always really enjoyed bad films. I love The Room, and I strongly suggest you read Disaster Artist, which is the book based on the making of the film The Room, and has obviously now been made into a film with all sorts of people that are very popular in it. Including Seth Rogen and I forgot his name. Who's the main guy?
James Franco,
and his brother as well. Anyway, that's a great film and it's a great book. And I love The Room because obviously it's so awfully made, but there's clearly heart behind it. And lots and lots of films are so well intentioned, but are just dreadful. And I think myself and Matt have got a huge roster of sort of weird... They're not even student films because they were done on camera phones. But we made a selection of films between the years of 2005 and I think 2009.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So almost 10 years ago plus now. Yeah. Where we just got a camera phone out. We wrote down a script, literally, sometimes on the back of napkins and things like that. And just filmed it, and then I edited it together and put way too many of my own favourite songs in, and then by the end we were even involving our significant others and our mutual friend Ben, who appears in one of my favourite scenes where you genuinely trip over a step in.
Well, trying to lift up my shirt, but that was spontaneous and that was fun, and we were being creative, and that's something that Ed Wood, the actual man, because he's a real man. Is this Bill Murray's first ever real life
biopic?
Yeah.
That's
actual role. I'm not sure.
That's a really good question, and one that off the top of my head I can't answer.
No, it isn't. Hunter S. Thompson. I'm an idiot.
Oh, of course, yeah. You're not an idiot. No, you're not an idiot.
Okay, but I feel foolish.
Okay.
So this film. So I think I'm making this up, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think this film is directed by Tim Burton, and I think it comes in between Batman Returns and Mars Attacks. I might be talking bollocks.
So Batman Returns.
This is 1994. Edward,
so Batman Returns was 92.
Yeah,
Mars Attacks was 96. So assuming he didn't make anything in 95 or 93. Then yes, you're right.
So it was a rich time for Tim Burton.
Well, it is and it isn't. because it depends what you define as rich. Because this film and Mars Attacks are amongst his lesser known.
I would say rich in terms of quality.
Yeah, I mean in that case I'd agree with you.
Because the two Batman films are hugely underrated now. Now that Christopher Nolan came along
Yeah.
and trampled over everything, I mean, he did a brilliant job.
Yeah.
But those Tim Burton films were revolutionary. We wouldn't have the Marvel films now without them. We wouldn't have any of the. They were incredibly.
And they were at a
inspirational.
time where superhero films were immensely unfashionable.
Yeah.
And he revolutionised the idea of making superhero films for adults.
For
Basically.
25 years, people had thought of Batman and they thought of Adam West, which is no bad thing because he made that role. But to reshape that is a brilliant thing.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent now of turning, I don't know, The Only Way is Essex into a Shakespearean tragedy.
Yes.
Which in some ways
Rather
it
than
is.
just a tragedy. both had a joke there.
Yeah.
But, didn't allow the other one to say this.
But I've got a Tim Burton theory. Now, I do quite like Tim Burton. He is very hit and miss.
Yes. Definitely going through a rough patch at the moment, I think.
Yes, although what was his last film? What was his last film?
Was it that mediocre film with Johnny Depp in it that was...
Dark Shadows?
Possibly.
That's a while ago now. His last film that I've seen of his was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which I've read the book of, which was amazing. And the film was disappointing in comparison, but again, it's a 3-star film. He also did Alice in Wonderland a few years ago, didn't he?
Yeah, I think Dark Shadows was after that, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Maybe not in a creative vein at the moment, although he's doing the new live-action Dumbo.
Which will probably be his big comeback.
Which will be his a big hit for him. I've got a theory about Tim Burton. It's if he writes, or not writes necessarily, if he directs a film that begins with B, it'll be absolutely amazing. So, Beetlejuice, Batman Returns, Big Fish is one of my favourite films ever. I love Big Fish. And Big Eyes with Amy Adams, which is also a brilliant film. Those are all great films.
Okay.
He hasn't directed any bad films beginning with B.
Right.
So... M is a slightly different matter. I mean, you've got this... no, hang on. Edward doesn't begin with an M. Mars Attacks does. I can't remember the alphabet. I had a point. I worked it through in bed last night. I thought it through before I went to sleep. It was about letters and it was amazing. It starts with a bit... Alex has turned a puce sort of colour. So you're telling me you've lost the point? Well, I'm telling you, I've got elements of the point, but I don't mean the point is going to look like the point anymore. like if you have to go to a morgue, they'll go, I don't think you should look. It doesn't look like Auntie Violet anymore. Best if you don't go in. That's what my point is like. Right, okay, I'm gonna start talking about the film again. What your point was? I had a point about letters. I'd have to look at his whole filmography to make it. I'm not sure it's worthwhile. It's a complicated point. I just wanted to say. I think the point was somehow going to my face is saturated with tears. I think I was trying to make the point that this is a great film. It's not a brilliant Tim Burton film, but it's. It doesn't begin with M. Yeah, or B. You don't need me to point that out. This doesn't begin with B. There's a lot of laughter in here. So what's coming? Oh, he's fresh on his off. Hello. Come in, sweetheart. Are you okay?
Daddy.
Yeah.
I think the stars come off Edward's.
Oh, the stars come off the Christmas tree. Yeah, that's a good metaphor for life. It's gone. It's sunk down into the tree. It'll be all right. We'll put it back up next year, sweetheart.
Okay.
Oh, let me go, you sweetheart. See you soon. Oh, my glasses just fell off my head. Right, what was my point? Say something about Edward.
I can't. I'm still recovering. Yeah.
It's okay. Right, so this is a black and white film. It's our second film with black and white in it. Of the Bill Murray canon, because of course Nothing Lasts Forever burst into black and white at one stage, but this is fully black and white. I don't even think it has. Does it have any token colour in it? Like in
don't think so.
Like in Schindler's List, it doesn't, does it? Because isn't there a bit where actually they play with it, don't they? Because he lifts something up saying, "What sweater do you think would suit me?" and he holds up a load of sweaters that all look the same.
Yeah.
So they do play with that. Obviously, it's shot in black and white because that's what Edward shot his films in, and so it's a lovely homage, and it's really good good because it doesn't mock Edward at all. It's replicating his style, but also the film has clearly been put together not in a similar style, but it's a big budget film about a low budget director, but they get the balance just right, and it's lovely. And Johnny Depp is brilliant in it. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah, he is brilliant. I think it stands for a time where Tim Burton was doing films about stuff he wanted to do rather than being commissioned as a director for hire doing stuff he didn't really want to do. Egypt. Well, I don't know. He might have wanted to do Alice in Wonderland, but certainly this feels like he was. And you know, you've got to think about what he was doing at the time. He'd done Edward Scissorhands. Yeah. Then he did. What did we say the film was?
That was my other E point. Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah,
Edward.
Yeah.
There's a certain level of quality attached to E.
So what was the film? Oh, Batman. So he obviously wanted to do that. Then this, and then Mars Attacks. So you know, with this film, he's got an era he was really interested in. Is it? Yeah. Is it the 50s? I think 40s, 50s, sort of era of, you know, Edward and this legendary bad filmmaker. And Mars Attacks, he wanted to do the 50s era. Mars Attacks, a film based on trading cards, you know, apparently, which is weird, but it works in that film. But Mars Attacks, very controversial film. I love it, but when I went to see it at the cinema, I was really scared by it. Yeah, well, because it's quite a scary film and very dark film, like children die in it and dogs die. Yes, she's in this as well, isn't she? She is, yeah. So.
I don't think many people know that Sarah Jessica Parker has been in 2 Tim Burton films.
No, possibly not. I think he intended for the Michael J. Fox part in Mars Attacks to be Johnny Depp. And if you think about it would make perfect sense because the character is a slick news reporter, isn't it? You can imagine Johnny Depp doing that. Johnny Depp would have been brilliant in that. Yeah. And it would have been very funny seeing Johnny Depp get incinerated whilst he reached for Sarah Jessica Parker's hand. Yeah. But it's funnier, almost, seeing Michael J. Fox do that.
And this film is funny as well. Edward is funny. He plays him. I mean, wasn't Edward?
That's now, in the beginning, though.
Edward was
Jack Black's in Mars Attacks. Sorry.
Oh yes, he is, isn't he?
There's loads of famous people in that film.
Edward was a cross-dresser, wasn't he? And they don't shy away from that in this film. No. They show it. They show his wife or girlfriend, I can't remember, being sort of revolted by it. Yeah. They play him as sort of being sort of effeminate, but not camp.
Yes. Yeah. They show him, as you say, as a sympathetic figure. I think they show. Doesn't one of his films have Bela Lugosi in it?
Yes. Now that brings us to Martin Landau, who is the standout in this film. Yes. Bill Murray is great in this film. I think he won an Oscar for it.
Yeah, I was going to say he did, or at least a nomination. Yeah, because he is superb.
He is brilliant, and he died this year, didn't he, Martin Landau? Was it this year,
very recently. Yeah,
he's in another Bill Murray film as well, and he's excellent at that. Yeah. That we'll get to in due course. But he is brilliant as Bela Lugosi in this, as a faded star, just trying to recapture his glory. He's great.
He's a great actor. He was also in, we mentioned a few podcasts ago, I think the Groundhog Day podcast, he's in 1201.
Oh, is he?
He's the big name star in it, yeah. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, Martin Landau, brilliant actor. A real character actor, and an amazing face.
Yeah, he had an amazing
perfect face for Bela Lugosi.
And talking of faces, I mean, Bill Murray plays is it Buddy Breckenridge, isn't it? Breckenridge? Yeah. Who, if you see in the original films that he was in, because I think he was in 2 films, he was. It's hard to believe. So when were they? 50s, weren't they? Yeah. It's hard to believe that Buddy Breckenridge was considered a closet homosexual because he's very obviously gay. You know, in his acting style, he's
not the first gay man to be played by Bill Murray. I don't think, is it?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it might be the first openly gay. If you will have a think, I don't know who the other one was, but Bill Murray does it so well, and he does it without. He is camping it, but then Buddy Breckenridge was camp, so he has to be. Yeah. But he doesn't mock him. It's not a role you give. You remember now? Was it Mr. Mike's Mondo video where he played that guy on the street who was mocking the disabled? Yeah. It's not. You wouldn't watch that and then give him this role. This role has clearly been given. You know, you wouldn't ask him to play a gay man who was very camp in real life. You wouldn't ask him to play that after having seen how he portrays someone of lower intelligence on the street, because you wouldn't think he had that subtlety, but he clearly has grown it over the last few years.
Yes, I really enjoyed this Bill Murray performance, and it's a really good one. I think it's one of his strongest, because as you say, he really is, again, an actor in this and not a comedian.
He goes to have a sex change in it, doesn't he? But it doesn't work out because sex changes then were very crude.
Yes, and difficult, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and I think, isn't there a car accident that stops it from happening or something like that?
Yeah. I wonder if that's real.
I think it was. I did when writing this back in the days when we wrote these reviews. I did a lot of research.
Yeah, you did.
I did. Here's the thing. Yes, so. in the film, because he's going to get his penis removed, and he goes, "Goodbye, penis." In real life, he got as far as travelling to Mexico to meet a surgeon for a sex change until a car accident got in the way.
Right.
I'm not sure whose car accident because I didn't take a note of that.
I don't. He obviously wasn't happy as a man then.
No, I don't think so.
But what a length to go to not be a man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite topical, really.
Yeah, it is.
Because
this film was very ahead of its time. It was cross-dressing, and this is pre Eddie Izzard popularity, I think. This is pre, I think so, 1993, 94. I mean, Eddie Izzard, I think, was gaining prominence, but maybe not massively.
I was always really confused by Eddie Izzard when I was a kid, because I knew about gay people, but I didn't understand why he wasn't gay, yet cross-dressed.
Yeah.
Because he isn't, is he?
No,
isn't he a
not gay,
dad?
no. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can be gay and be a dad.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
he's a biological dad, I think, and is still straight.
Yeah. And I know that confused me too when I was younger, because I didn't have a slot to put him in, but that is... I don't...
I'll rephrase that.
Yeah, but I didn't have a box to place him in. But oh dear, that's worse. But we needed someone like that, don't we? And we all do.
Yeah.
And this film needed that. And it's great. It's a lovely film. It's a really nice film. It's a sweet film. It's a nostalgic film, nostalgic for a time that never existed. But also it's a sad film when you think about what a sad life Ed Wood had, because after these films that he was making, he just went into sexploitation films. He had no career. Wasn't allowed to. He was never given the budget to make the films that he wanted to make. And we talked about Tom Schiller a few podcasts ago. At least he was given the budget to make one of the films he wanted to make.
Yes.
But you just know from that film there's so much vision, there's so much more to him. And there was to Ed Wood. Give Ed Wood a brilliant budget and he could have made amazing stuff. He could have made Tim Burton style stuff.
Yes.
That's the irony,
But he
isn't
just
it?
didn't have the budget.
No. The film shows you that, doesn't it? It shows you, that even the studio head's going, look, I'm allocated only a certain amount of money. And does he say something like, right, I need 3 months to make this, and the guy goes, you've got 3 days? Or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
And that happened. That happened all the time.
Yeah.
You can't make decent stuff under those conditions because there's only one take. A lot of these things that we've seen, they stood the test of time. They're all on YouTube, all of Ed Wood's films that I can see anyway. There's famous ones anyway. They're just one take. You can see some of the mistakes. You can see that they haven't had time to rehearse the material properly.
Sad.
It is sad. It's a time to be...
Bit like amateur theatre, really.
It is a little bit, yeah.
But that's for fun.
That is for fun. And this is fun, but you watch it with a sort of a sadness. It's got a lovely beginning and ending as well. The beginning endings mimic the beginning mimics that sort of flying saucer stuff with the fakery and you can see the saucers on the sticks, can't you, as it's waving through.
But it's interesting, it makes a very good companion piece to Mars Attacks because
it does,
the
actually.
next film that Tim Burton made was the sort of film that Plan 9 from Outer Space was.
Yeah.
Except Tim Burton's actually made the film Mars Attacks. Mars Attacks, I would have loved it if Bill Murray had been in that, because I'd love to discuss that. Because that's a really fantastic film as well.
A B-movie parody, and Tim Burton clearly loves B-movies,
loves B-movies, but I cannot, for the life of me, think of another film that isn't anything like Mars Attacks.
Yeah, I saw Mars Attacks when I was definitely too young for it.
Yeah,
I don't mean too young in a sense of, I was scared by it because I was, but I mean, I saw it when I was too young to understand what it was trying to do.
Well, so did I, and I just thought...
I saw Pulp Fiction the same year, and I didn't get it.
Because I didn't get the satire of Mars Attacks, I also didn't get how not to be taken seriously the brutality in it was.
Yeah.
And it is very brutal, and I couldn't comprehend a dog dying in it and played for laughs. I couldn't comprehend loads and loads of children getting crushed by Cleopatra's Needle in Washington DC. Yeah. I couldn't comprehend any of that. And I just thought it was incredibly sad.
Now, curiously, you say that, and this is directed by Tim Burton. Now, no one in the world, apart from me, likes Tim Burton's version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. No one in the world certainly prefers it to the original, which I certainly do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you read the book, the Tim Burton film is closer to the book.
But should that be your only criteria for preferring it?
No, it shouldn't, but my other criteria is following. In 3, 2, 1. It's what you just said about sort of the mass dispatching of children. Now, in the original, it's sinister. In the newer version, the Tim Burton version, it's got just the right sense of being played for laughs and morality to it. You learn... When I watched the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when I was younger, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, it was terrifying for me, and I thought that could happen to me. That was terrifying. But what I didn't get was it was supposed to be a moral lesson about being good, and it's supposed to be. It's a snuff movie, isn't it? It is.
Yeah.
But with kids, and you've got to find the right level to balance that out. And I don't think they do. I was scared of Gene Wilder, which is a shame because I love Gene Wilder. I love him. I'm just not in that film.
Yeah, I think that it's basically my belief in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is it's sort of an unfilmable book. I don't think because I think you can make something as dark as you like in a book, and as long as you don't sit or see it, you can kind of get away with it. But if you try to show the effects on the children in a film, you're always going to come unstuck. Because I watched, funnily enough, I don't hate the Tim Burton one. In fact, I don't love either of them. It's not my favourite story in the world. But
no, I like Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator more.
Yeah, but they've never filmed that, have they?
No,
yeah, but they should do. But the first film I never particularly enjoyed as a child. I quite like the songs. I think people like it for the songs, and it's more of a musical, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Here's a question to end with. What do you think about Deep Roy?
I like Deep Roy. Deep Roy was in an X-Files episode once called... what's it called?
Yes, I know it well.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know that I know. Anyway, he plays a character called the Battler that like sort of lives inside his stomach and stuff.
I mean, he's very unsettling in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, though.
He isn't. Yes, he is. But it's good that they cast an actual black guy, isn't it? An actual.
Is he Native American?
Yeah. Did I get the wrong description?
Well, they're sort of red, aren't they? Browny red.
Yeah, I don't want to. I mean,
is that racist?
Our lawyer says no, but our lawyer has been wrong before.
Okay.
Anyway, let's not end on a note of racism, but let's end on a note on Ed Wood, which is that it's a really good film. You gave it 8. I gave it 8.5, giving it an average of
8.25.
Excellent maths, my friend. And yeah, it's a good film. People have forgotten it. Don't.
What's next?
I can't remember.
Great.
A film.
We'll see
Bill
you then.
Murray will be in it. Bye.
Bye.